Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made.
Welcome and thanks for tuning in. In this video we're going to be finishing the main quest of the Tribunal add-on of Morrowind. We're picking up where the last livestream left off from after we met Almalexia and she had us activate the Dwemer weather machine within the ruins of Bams and Shin under the city of Mournhold. If you would like to check that out, there is a link to the playlist of the Rise of the Nerevarine playthrough of Morrowind in the description and pinned comment. We've been tasked by Almalexia with finding the pieces of the Blade of Nerevar named True Flame and reforging it.
Mournhold, city of light. Good to see you again, friend.
First, we speak with Plantinius Marrow for more information about the pieces of the blade because he is a good source of information in Mournhold. He says to speak to the museum curator and to speak to Berenzia as she may have helpful information. And I gotta say hi to my little buddy Packrat first and store some items. He is essentially our storage container while we're here in Mournhold. Next, we head off to speak with Berenzia.
Ah, my protector. It is good to see you again.
We ask her about the pieces of the blade, and she tells us to speak to Karod about his ancient Dwemer blade. We tend to get stuck in tight areas like this due to a buggy hitbox range, possibly because of OpenMW scripting, which I think has been fixed in later iterations. Here we speak with Karod about the pieces of the blade. We are given an odd Dwemer weapon by Karod for having bested him in a duel. It's nothing special as of yet, but definitely appears to be one of the pieces we're looking for. Next we head to the Museum of Artifacts to speak to Teresa Aram about the pieces of the blade.
It's another perfect day in Mournhold.
We learn she has an artifact from about the same time period. She says the artifact looks odd, maybe even fake, and she's willing to part with it for a price. So we ask about compensation. She says that we've done so much for the museum and she just gives us the Dwemer battle shield. She says the piece on it seems loose and maybe a smith could help. The shield definitely looks odd and the piece in the middle appears to be similar to the piece Almalexia gave us at the start of the quest. Taking her advice, we head over to the Craftsman Hall to speak to the smith Yagak Grogluk. When mentioning the shield, he says the odd piece shouldn't be attached and removes it for us. He then gives us the piece and the regular Dwemer shield. We speak to him about reforging the blade, to which he replies to give him 2 days and it will be ready. So, we head off to wait in the sewers because that's the only place to do so in Mournhold. Upon stepping into the sewers, we are attacked by a gaggle of goblins, which these guys would have given me a lot more trouble early on. One of them plays possum and has to be finished off before we can rest. We rest and skip the level up because we need to raise some skills first in order for us to get a better attribute boost. Then we head back to speak to Yogak and check on the blade progress.
Need custom armor? I'm the one you want.
What do you want?
He then gives us the reforged blade and says we will need to speak with a Dwemer for it to be re-enchanted. He acknowledges that all the Dwemer disappeared, but says that in the ruins under Mournhold we may be able to find the writings of a Dwemer mystic that can help. That blade looks pretty cool, actually. So following his instruction, we head to the ruins of Bams Shend to seek the mystic's writings. We encounter a few Dwemer machinations along the way. They're really no big deal, but they're hindering our progress, so we dispatch of them as quickly as possible. Although, We probably could have just ran past them and not bothered fighting at all. But where's the fun in that? During our search of the rooms, we almost missed the ghost of the Dwemer Radak Stungamthums. Speaking to him, he informs us that he's not a mystic, just a soldier, and we speak of adding fire to the blade. He says we will need to retrieve a bottle of pyrrole tar, which can be found in a cave called Nirn under these ruins in the city of Mindrur. He says that the tar will add the flame back to our blade. He then states that Mindrur is an old Daedric ruin and we should proceed with caution. He informs us that the entrance is located in the Passage of the Walker. We locate and enter the Passage of the Walker, which we previously opened for another quest from Almalexia. From there, we find the collapsed entrance to Nirn and use a Dwemer Satchel explosive to open it. We then enter the lower depths to locate the pyrrole tar. Upon entering, we can definitely tell it's an old Daedric ruin. It has an antechamber with 3 doors, and we choose to enter the lefternmost door first, to a room titled the Grand Stair. Once we are inside, our first encounter is a skeleton archer. Next, we encounter a single lich, which was the only one in this area, and another archer. The next encounter is a ghost. Our current sword doesn't damage it, so we have to swap to our fireball spell that hasn't been used since very early on in this save file. And with that, we are able to take care of the ghost. As we move further into the interior, we are accosted by another archer, and then another ghost comes along who resists the fireball spell. We end up having to change tactics to get rid of the skeletons first before turning our attention back to the ghost. We try summoning a scamp to fight the ghost, but he quickly dispatches of the scamp. And because of that, we are forced to resort to summoning a Daedric sword to combat the ghost. And that works out a lot better. And all that's left here is to finish off the remaining skeletons. Then we Elmsimi intervention back to town and sell our items before we get over-encumbered. I actually ended up going to the armory in the Great Bazaar area to find that Karaya Sosaya actually has more gold than the other guy that I usually sell to, so we sell her all the nice loot we just picked up. And after that, we recall back to the cavern and enter the door on the right side of the antechamber called Teeth That Gnash. Our first encounter of this area are a couple of Atronachs, and we quickly dispatch of them. All that's left in this room is a ghost and 2 Dremora. We make quick work of these enemies. And afterwards we move on through the next door to our task location, the Citadel of Mindrur. This area is partially flooded, so I cast Water Walk to quickly traverse across the room. And here we encounter a small horde of enemies consisting of a Hunger, a Winged Twilight, 3 Dremora, and 2 Golden Saints. We take out the Hunger and one of the Dremora and the Winged Twilight first. Then we make a strategic retreat in order to heal from all the attacks that we were just enduring. After healing, we turn around to re-engage the enemies, taking out the remaining 2 Dremora first. Then we turn our attention to the 2 Golden Saints that are left. Golden Saints are the best souls for enchanting, so we make sure to soul trap them before dispatching of them. always make sure that you have some Grand Soul Gems handy just for instances like this. And with that, we pick up our loot and Elm Sylvie back to town in order to sell everything. Selling off this took a total of like 13 minutes. I had to sell things, wait 24 hours for vendor gold to reset, then sell more things and repeat until the process was done. Then we recall back to the ruins, search the last Dremor's corpse, ashes, and find our Pyroyal tar. I went ahead and went to the next area and found shrines to the different Daedric princes, which was actually pretty cool. I always have enjoyed the aesthetic of the Elder Scrolls games. It's amazing how much effort goes into creating the world and lore of this realm. Now there's only one door left in the antechamber, so we go ahead and stop to rest so we can heal and replenish our magicka. Then we enter the door, which houses the last 3 enemies, 2 Dremora and an Ogrim. We are able to easily dispatch of these 3 last enemies. And then we must Elm Sylvie again back to town to unload the loot. At this point I have to use a feather spell in order to make it to the merchant because I'm over encumbered. And we head over to Craftsman's Hall to sell off the loot. Then we go back to Radak with the Pyroyal tar and speak to him so he can restore the flame to our sword. Now our sword is complete, it looks amazing, and also acts like a light source. Our journal states that we should now return to Almalexia. We return to her and speak to see what else we can learn.
My loyal servant.
She says that Sothasil, the wizard who helped her defeat Mehrunes Dagon, and who is the 3rd member of the Tribunal, has become unstable. When we ask about his instability, she says he retired to his Clockwork City many years ago and hasn't been heard from since. She explains further that within his Clockwork City he performs profane experiments, becoming tainted by his madness. When we ask of the madness that she speaks of, we are told that she suspects he enters Sheogorath's realm frequently and has become prone to anger. She says he began to speak of the fall of the Tribunal and the return of the old gods, and that he's no longer the man he once was. She then tells us that it was his creations, the Fabricants, that attacked Mournhold. She states that he is now a danger to all of Morrowind and must be stopped. And then she tasks us with bringing Sothasil to reason, and if that doesn't work, we must put an end to him. She says that with the Blade of True Flame, we can defeat him, and that once we are prepared, she will transport us to Sothasil's Clockwork City. So we tell her that we are prepared, and she teleports us to the Clockwork City. Once inside, we discover a lever that opens what appears to be a vault door. I guess Sothasil hired Vault Tech to design this place. We pass through this entrance, which has trap blades we must navigate through. The first room that we encounter has a dead Fabricant inside. Other than that, there's not much else within this first area. From there, we move to the next area called the Inner Flooded Halls. Here, we encounter our first enemies of the Clockwork City, some venomous Fabricants. As we navigate this area, we come across another hallway with trap blades, which conveniently take out the other assaulting Fabricants. Then we move on to the next area called the Hall of Delirium. Here we see evidence that the city is disheveled and lying in ruin. Our next door leads us to the Central Gearworks, where we are quickly ambushed by 3 more venomous Fabricants. After making quick work of the enemies, we then enter a door labeled the Chamber of Soleil. It is here that we encounter our first hulking Fabricant within the Clockwork City. quickly defeat this enemy and explore the area which has more fabricants, only to realize that nothing else is here, so we backtrack to the central gearworks. And from here, I decided to check the busted door and find that there is another doorway hidden in this spot called the Hall of Theuda. As we enter, we are greeted by more enemies that we must dispatch of. After clearing this area, we come to a door labeled Dome of Kasaya and enter, where we're promptly accosted by 3 more venomous fabricants which we easily take care of. We see a large spinning gear at the top of this room and navigate our way to the upper level as we restore our health from the previous encounter. Admittedly, I should have known this was a trap, but I found out the hard way. I then attempt to reach the other side, but quickly get taken out by the gear, which gets me again, and again. Okay, that wasn't even right. I was just standing there waiting this time. And so we try and try to reach the door, inching ever closer every time, only to be thwarted by the machine. And by now I'm extremely frustrated at the game over this part. Oh, come on, I was right there. Jeez. Finally, through sheer will and luck, we are able to reach the doorway on the other side, where I decide to tempt fate just to check if these corpses have anything valuable on them. Here we enter the Dome of Sirlin, where we encounter our first major obstacle, a problem in OpenMW scripting that renders the fog level at 0 instead of 1, making it impossible to see within the room. I initially thought this might ruin the ability to finish the quest as I stood here unable to see where to go, while being attacked by enemies I couldn't see and had to spin randomly while attacking, hoping that I would hit them. After reading multiple threads online, the issue can be fixed by opening the game files and setting the fog rendering to 1, or by using the console command TS to toggle sky. However, as I'm using OpenMW on mobile, I cannot access either of these functions and I'm left with only one option: to use the minimap and navigate to the door of the fabricant machine to reach the other door that's on the other side. So, we fiddle with the levers that activate the doors and attempt to accomplish the goal of reaching the next room. And thankfully we are able to escape the Hall of Sirlin into the Hall of Salamu. From Salamu we can reach the door to the Dome of Udokt, which has one venomous fabricant that we must deal with. After that we must activate a lever on the right side of the room which lowers a bridge that leads to the door of the Hall of Melietho. After moving through this area, we find a door labeled Dome of the Imperfect. Inside here we can see 2 of Sothasil's Imperfects, which are large guardians that appear to be inspired by Dwemer design. Luckily we only have to deal with one of the guardians, as the other appears to be broken. Now this enemy can easily be an issue for lower level characters, but seeing as we are almost level 40, we are able to dispatch of it fairly easily. After that battle we find our next door is the Dome of Sothasil. Inside this room we find the emaciated body of Sothasil attached to one of his machines. Interacting with his body, a message prompt appears informing us that he is in fact deceased and someone has obviously been here before us. With nothing left to do here, we turn to leave the area only to be interrupted by Almalexia herself teleporting in.
Nerevarine, here it ends. This clockwork city was to be your death. You were to be my greatest martyr. The heroic Nerevarine, sacrificing all to protect Morrowind from the mad soul of sin. But you live. You live. Fear not. I will tell the tale myself when this is done. I will tell my people how with your dying breath you proclaimed your devotion to me, the one true God. Your death will end this prophecy and unite my people again under one God, one faith, one rule by my divine law. The puppet king will lay down his arms and bow to my will. Those who do not yield will be destroyed. The mazed band has allowed me to travel to this place. Here I slew Sothasil. Here I summoned the Fabricants to attack Mournhold. I will be the savior of my people. I alone will be their salvation. But I smell the blood of gods on your hands, Nerevarine. Vivek was a fool. I'm sorry I wasn't there to see his death. But Sothasil, he always thought himself our better, shunning us, locking himself in his hole. He spoke not a word as he died, not a whisper. Even in death he mocked me with his silence. I think you will scream, mortal, for now you face the one true God.
After she monologues for a few minutes, it becomes clear that it is she who has become insane, not Sothasil, and that she killed Sothasil and plans to do the same to us. This fight can be particularly difficult, even at higher levels. I actually died twice while recording this. It is best to avoid her attacks as much as possible. And after a grueling ordeal of a battle, she finally succumbs and we are able to loot her sword Hope's Fire and the maze band of Balthazar, which allows us to teleport back out of the Clockwork City. Once we step out of the temple, we are greeted by the Daedric Prince, Azura.
You have done well, mortal. The death of Amalexia is a boon for all of Morrowind, though it may take time for this to be understood. She would have betrayed the Dhamma as surely as she had betrayed all those whom she loved. This was her curse and her undoing. Weep not for Sothasil. He shed his mortality long ago, and I am certain his death was no small relief to him. These gods lived with the burden of a power no mortal was meant to possess. Your work in Morrowind is not finished, Nerevarine. The Tribunal are dead, and the faith of my people is shaken. Protect them. Defend these lands. The skies of Mournhold are clear once again. Let these peoples suffer no longer. Now go, mortal. Embrace your destiny, and go with my blessing.
And with that, we have officially finished the main quest of the Tribunal add-on of Morrowind. I have returned to Mournhold and been visited by the spirit of the Daedric Azura. She has told me that the death of Amalexia was just, and that it was she, not Sothasil, who was mad. Time at the Tribunal is gone, according to Azura. A sign of her love to the Dwemer, she has ended the ash storms and promised they will never return. We go to speak with King Helseth about the situation. He is shocked to hear that Amalexia was behind the Fabricants' attack on the city, and that she murdered Sothasil and attacked us as well. He remarks that since the Tribunal of Living Gods has been removed, a new era for Morrowind has begun. He thanks us and gifts us with a set of Royal Guard armor. We say goodbye to Packrat and take our stored gear from him. It is bittersweet that we cannot take him with us out of Mournhold, but he will remain here until our return. We then speak to Efitai in order to procure travel back to Vvardenfell. Then we spend the next 20 minutes cluttering up our home with some more loot that we came back with. Which is what these games are really all about, honestly. Collecting everything you can and hoarding it in all of your residences. This video actually took about 3 hours to record all of the gameplay, most of which was just exploration, but also that one glitched area in the Dome of Serlin, where I attempted to traverse, unable to see anything, and had to stop so I could read online about it. And as you will see throughout this segment, I'm a pretty big hoarder in the Elder Scrolls universe. I just love collecting everything that I think is cool. And honestly, I think most people are like that in these games, especially on their first playthrough. I deeply enjoy these games and find myself easily immersed into them as I play. If you're like that as well, then I encourage you to check out OpenMW. It's specifically designed as a Morrowind port to be played on computer, but you can also run it on mobile like I'm doing. It even allows you to run mods for added content, and someone even made a mod called Starwind that converts the whole OpenMW engine into a Star Wars game. I haven't tried it out yet, but I do have the mod downloaded and saved for later. I've had a blast playing this classic 2002 game and can't believe it took me 20 years to play it for the first time. I will be playing some more, as there's plenty of content I haven't covered yet, so look out for more uploads like this in the future. I would like to thank everyone who has subscribed recently, as it really helps the channel get promoted more, and I hope to get back to doing live streams again in the future. I really enjoy it, and I've missed doing those. If you enjoyed this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to drop a comment as well. Just by simply liking and commenting, you help us content creators a lot by informing YouTube that the content should be seen by more people. And it helps us to know that what we create is being enjoyed. You are the reason that we create content, and without you, none of this is possible. So thank you for just simply watching and allowing us to entertain you. I hope that you have a wonderful day, take care of yourself, and if you would like to see more, then be sure to turn on all notifications when you subscribe, so that you can be updated the next time a video is posted or a stream goes live. Much love, and thanks again for watching.